Hey there. I just wanted to do a brief downtime after session 13 to kind of explain where I am with the party and the hirelings and that whole adventure. The first thing I think I said it during a session, which I didn't really, I don't know if I said it like clearly enough, but I've kind of come across this system for myself that works when playing solo with BECME or old school D&D, which is to have a main party that I can role play, PCs that have various classes so that I can get sort of like the flavor of the role playing, and then also to bring along a dungeoneering company. You'll see pretty soon that I've like redesigned this sheet so it's much more brief and focused on like the company. That company will be all of one class. So right now I've got all fighters. That means they'll have the same saves and the same HD as well as the same THAC0. They'll level up together. I'm going to split the treasure with them, so they're not exactly hirelings or mercenaries. They are part of the party, but the advantage to doing that is like I'm keeping them as one class, and specifically like it's okay if they are, not to put too fine a point on it, but meat shields. You know, these are the PCs who are going to kick in the door, who are going to take those first hits. So I think it's great to have a fighting company that goes along with the party. It's acknowledged that the party are sort of the ones who put this together. They're the leaders, if you will, of the expedition, but the dungeoneering company are the muscle, you know, the hired muscle. There are not rules that I've found in OSE or in BECME about that specifically. So I feel like I'm, you know, as a relatively new solo player and relatively new to old school gaming, I feel like I'm going out on a limb, or I feel like there's this, you know, I'm 13 sessions in and I'm already homebrewing like a whole system for solo play. So be it. I think that this is going to work best for me. XP will be divided equally, gold will be divided more or less equally, but the dungeoneering company will have sort of their own store of treasure. You know, the gold that they go into, I'm like on my new sheet, I've eliminated this cost per month. I'm not hiring them each month. I'm just giving them like a set split of the treasure, and the leader of that company gets to decide how to disperse it. But basically they're just responsible for keeping themselves up. Likewise, they should level up together. The XP just is going to go evenly in there. And in my imagination, it's like if we get to, say, level 3 and I lose someone in the dungeoneering company, they're going to go out and hire someone who's already a level 3 fighter. That way I keep it as simple as possible. The other thing I'm adding in is a recruiting field, which is basically just a charisma stat. Every time I lose a member of the company, that's going to go down. And every time we return successfully from an adventure, that's going to go up just by one increment. So I'm going to have to go back to some episodes and figure out how many people I've lost. But I assume my recruiting is probably at like a -3 right now, 3 or 4. And what I'll do then is like when Grebe, the current leader, goes out to recruit someone, I'll roll on the reaction table using that recruiting number. And if it's -3, possibly we can't hire anyone for that next adventure. We go out, we need to return successfully in order for that recruiting number to go up. So that's kind of another mechanic I'm putting in there to add to the realism, but also just help me get into the whole role-playing thing here. The next thing I want to talk about is in session 13, I go through an adventure in the Old School Essentials Adventure Anthology 1. I really like this dungeon. It's called the Jeweler's Sanctum. I've taken a party through it as a DM, and going through it on my own, I managed to do different things than that party and have sort of a different adventure. There's a lot of treasure in it. It's a really easy dungeon for sending a party through and knowing they'll level up afterwards. It doesn't have a lot of loops or different entrances or things like that to it, so it feels kind of like a funnel in that sense. Nonetheless, I think it's pretty good. What I realized as I was doing this play in session 13 was I was relying so much on this map that's in the book. I mean, these OSE books are so well designed, and just having it like right here on the inside cover, I was just looking at this, and then if you've watched the video, I just have my sort of character sheets over here or whatever it was that I was doing my counting on, and I'm just kind of flipping back and forth in the book, like to get to the different rooms. So when I ended that session, I didn't have like an artifact left behind of what I had done. In previous sessions, I've had note cards with maps on it or what's in this sketchbook underneath here. So I decided I really need to put something like that together and do it as I continue through adventures solo. So I'd begun mapping Gunderholfen in here, and it's a mess, but it kind of like helps me see what I've played. And so I started doing that and just making my own map of the Jeweler's Sanctum and then noting what happened in each room. In the future, I hope to do this like as I'm playing when I have to do something like that, where it's kind of a one-shot deal. I mention this because if you're solo playing and you're not making a video of it, which is the majority of people, like it's easy for me to think because I'm making a video, that's the artifact that I'm creating. That's the record of my solo play. But a lot of solo play doesn't rely on it, but it asks of the players that they make a journal. And I'm not really interested in writing a story of my adventure, especially because a lot of that story is in the descriptions here. What I want to remember is kind of like the journey itself. Like, what was that map like? How did we get everywhere? When I look at those maps, no matter how primitive they are that I've done from other adventures, I know exactly like where I went and what I did here. So I think doing something like this, where I try to record what happened in the rooms, and I come up with like kind of a rough sketch of the map, I think that's going to be the artifact to me that's going to help me remember. And I think if I weren't making a video and I were just playing solo, this is what I would do. I might do it on dot grid paper so that it's a better oriented map. And I might do it with something that's more like nodes and lines of a map. But I think this is the artifact I want to take with me. I want to make something interesting out of the map. So that's my downtime thoughts for session 13, which is split into 2 parts as my PCs get through the Jeweler's Sanctum. And I'll see you next time.